Everyone, it's Annette Green, week 7 of 2025, where every week I do a craft or craft related video. And today I'm going to make a card, but I'm going to answer some questions that some viewers had for me, and that was from Barb H. She wants to see how we work with the trees in my Forest Friends and Frame die set. She says, how do you make it look like green and brown out of one die cut? So I'm going to show you that. Paula DeLeon asked me to demo my little birds from the Birds and Dwellings, because there's 4 different birds and lots of little pieces and parts there. So I'm going to do that as well, and then I'll talk a little bit about this very early release of my layered birds from my very first release, and a little tip with dealing with those as well, even though I won't use this one on a card. Okay, so let's just start with the tree. And what I've done is I've die cut the 2 different size trees from that Forest Friends and Frame set. And I've used my beautiful Bounty paper. So it's the back side of this sheet here. We're also going to use this on the card front. So we have this nice kind of evergreen green, piney green. So I cut 2 for the inside, 1 for the front. And this is so easy, right? So just grab yourself something you know. Your marker or whatever you're going to use will not bleed through. I'm going to use alcohol markers. You could use water-based markers. You could even use like an ink and a fingertip dauber if you wanted a little softer look. I'm going to use good old Olo markers. I have 2 different shades of brown here. I'm going to start with the lighter one and just see if we like it. So OR 3.7, and I'll test it with one of these little guys. We'll get in here nice and close. And it's not hard, you know. I just look for spaces in between where the tree trunk might be. So you see a little branch sticking out there. You got a little greenery here, and I'm doing like a wiggly line so it doesn't look hard and perfect. And I mean, that's really it. And this color was good. I don't think I need to go with that darker brown. I had one shade a little darker. But as you can see, nicely done, super easy and quick. You could, if you wanted to add dimension, grab a green marker and kind of touch it on the bottoms of these trees. Let's do that. I'm reaching back here for a decent dark green, GU 1.7. Might as well do that. Just to put a little shadow on the bottom. Again, not perfect, not a hard wiggly line, or not a hard sharp line, but more of a wiggly line. Just softly. So that looks pretty good, just like that, right? And lots of dimension compared to the one that was not done. So I'll do that to this one too, and then we'll do the big one together. Okay, there's my 2. And now the big one. Now I already started the brown just like before. It's a little different tree if you notice. It's not like this die cut is the same as this, just bigger. It's a slightly different tree, so you may color it a little differently. I did start some of the green here, but the brown, just like before, just kind of some rough spots in between where you think the trunk is peeking through. The quicker you move, the better. Don't overthink it, you know. I find that to be the case when I watercolor or do anything else. If I have too much time and overwork it, it's too much. So if you just quickly touch some lower boughs here, and then you can always go back if you see little places like these little tiny things sticking out. You can do that. Where the brown meets, you could touch a little green, little fast little strokes just to kind of separate where that brown is coming in. Look at, I mean, it's just wiggly little lines. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit and take a look at the bird here. I do like to refer to the packaging always, and that's what I recommend to you. So you see we have 2 birds that face to the right, 2 to the left. These 2 dies are exactly the same, just flipped, okay? So when you look at it, here's another packaging I have here. So when you look at your little pieces with those 2 identical ones, what I like to do is, once I figure out the piece that goes with it, and that's by looking at the packaging, so I can tell he's got that little funny beak So these are the two pieces right here. And so what I do is I put a little dot on the one that I have determined goes with the other. So this one, see the two black dots I did with a Sharpie marker? So this goes with this one. And you just have to figure that one out because you don't know till you try the direction that everything's going to go. And this is the exact same die, just everything is flipped, just like the bird. So this one goes with this one. You only have to mark one because once you do, then you don't have to worry about that one. You know those two go together. And then by looking at the packaging, you can determine, like this bird that we're going to make right here. So he's facing to the right. We know it's that piece. And then I look at the little pieces, like the little wavy thing around his head and this long skinny part here. And I look at the die and I say, well, that's those pieces right there. So I know these two go together. And then same with this guy. He's the only one left. He faces to the left. And if you look at the picture, these are his little parts. So you just have to kind of refer to the packaging. That's the best way to figure this out. So I've already die cut these two pieces. And it's all cut from soft finish white cardstock because it's really easy to color with alcohol markers or whatever you're going to use. So I have all the little pieces here ready to go and color, and I have a bunch of markers over here. So again, I'm going to just copy the packaging. I'm going to look at that bird right there and try to mimic as close as I can. So I've picked similar colors to what I see there. And we're just going to start with this little guy. There's the wing, and these are parts of the face. I'm going to keep those over there. There's a lot of little bitty pieces. That's why I like to put them on black cardstock. Okay, so we're going to take a super light yellow 2.2, YO 2.2, just kind of test it. And we're just going to stroke across the belly because that's how it kind of looks over there. You can come up a little higher. We're going to come back with this color in a bit, so put that aside. Then we'll take a little darker YO 2.3 and we'll come across the top. And they're very close in value, these two colors, so it's a nice little blend. And then I have yet another darker, just a slightly darker shade, YO 2.5. And I'll just run that across the top a little bit. It looks quite dark here, but when we blend, it'll be okay. So I'm just going to do a little bit at the top. Okay, we can do a little bit here, a little bit under here. Let's do the whole tail. Why not? Okay, and that's where I would go back to that second color, YO 2.3, and just kind of blend it. I'm not doing any of the face because I know that those pieces are going to cover that up. So I'm just not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now we will go in. I have this 0 or O 2.5. I think that's what I'm going to use for his wing, but I'm also going to do his little feet. And let's see, that might be a little orange. We'll add a little brown to that. I mean, it looks cute, but while I have this orangey color, I'm not even going to move it off of this black. I'm going to color that little beak piece. Now, of course, you can cut all these pieces out of colored cardstock. If you want to mess with that, go for it. Let's see, we got the wing here. Let's go back to that orangey color. We'll just do the whole thing with that first, and then we'll go with the brown that we used for the tree. And we can always blend that up together. So I like to do that and then come back with that color we had and just kind of blend those together. Swirls are better than strokes. There we go. And is there anything else? I think we'll darken up those feet instead of making them orange. Let's make them brown. That's how the picture looks. So that's what we'll do. And while we have the brown, we're going to take this little face piece here, because in the picture it's a very dark brown, so we might as well do that as well. You can make this, of course, any color you want, but these colors do go with my card papers I have selected. And then we have a teeny little eyeball there, but we've got this funny little piece here that I have decided I was going to use this color, 7 point, let's see. Yeah, 7.0, 7.3. So I'll color that with that one. And the eyeball, I'm just going to grab, I didn't grab a black alcohol marker, so I'm just going to grab this here water-based marker and just touch that with some black. I'm going to put it over here so I can find it later. Okay, just make sure you get it all the way around. It's a little fiddly. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put this little guy together. And we're going to start with the wing. We're just going to put it there. It's very orange, isn't it? We could make that more brown. I made it a little more brown, and as a result, I want to make my little birdie a little more brown, but rather than using the markers again, I'm just going to go with some gathered twigs, distress ink, and kind of blend that just to give him a little more brown to go with his wings, or his wing. So I think that'll be better. Can ink this as well. Okay, cute. All right, so let's put that on first. And I'm just going to use some liquid glue here. Art glitter glue, don't need a lot. I'm looking at the picture. His little wing comes down off the body a little bit back there. Okay, and then we want to put this piece next. I'm putting this glue on with my left hand, so it looks kind of funny. But it's a little thick, so you want to take your pinky, just give that a little tap so it doesn't ooze out all over the place. And then this piece will fit right in place. Just line up the breast, line up the little face part. Okay, cute. We can also ink that a little bit. And then we've got this little piece, and it just fits nicely around what we just put down. Get a little glue on that one. Okay. And this just fits like a puzzle right here. Just put it together. It might have been a good idea. I do have the wing a little bit high, so maybe put the face and that on first, and then you can have a little more room for your wing. But that looks good. And then we've got his little beak here. This is like, you know, surgery. These little tiny bits. And again, you don't need a lot of glue, that's for sure. So this will line up with the beak that's there. Got a little glue spot there, okay. Straighten that out a little bit, okay. And then I got my little eyeball. So I've got my pickup stick here, Simon Says stamp. And I just like to put a little dot of glue where I think I want to put the eye. Ooh, that was a lot. So that's going to ooze out a little bit, but it's all right. We'll just let that dry. Okay, so that's our little bird for now. We're going to push him off to the side, let him dry. And I've worked on a couple of other things. All right, so my card is 5 by 7. I just used like an off-white textured cardstock. I did decorate the inside a little bit with my beautiful Bounty papers. This will be our place to write. And we're going to put 2 of those small trees on the inside, so we might as well just do it now. And what I envision is having one be like a full tree and then another one just a little bit lower. And we can snip this off right where that kind of orange area is. And since it's sort of rounded, the other one, I'm going to do that here real quick. So you can ink that. So we'll glue those in place. So while that's sitting and drying, I'll show you the other things that I kind of got ready for the card. From the Forest Friends and Frame set, again, I cut out just from soft finish white, used the alcohol markers and colored these two. I stamped a little tab, It's Your Day. The tab comes from my small doilies and tabs stamp and die combo, which looks like this. And the stamp, It's Your Day, comes from a little older set from a release or two ago. Phrases and dingbats. So there's all these great little phrases here. So I stamped that in dark brown. And then from my beautiful Bounty paper, I cut out this little mushroom piece, mounted it on some green, and then I used my postage stamp die to cut out the postage edge with sort of a burnt orangey red colored cardstock. I'm going to glue those together. This is also from Beautiful Bounty, this cute little library card, mounted it to that same cardstock, and then I cut a larger postage stamp out of green. So it's sort of the opposite of what's going on here. And I'm going to glue these together. I also have a very large doily over here. This is from my large doilies from my very first release. It does cut out the circle, but I'm going to pop it back in, and that's cut with the same cardstock as the card. I got my big tree, and I have some teeny tiny little flowers cut out. This is from the Birds and Dwellings, but I added something interesting that I wanted to point out. So when I was cutting out the large doily, these little star pieces pop out of this area. See them right there? All these little kind of stars. They look like little flowers in a way. So I put them back to use. Instead of just chucking them in the garbage, I colored them with alcohol markers to the colors that I wanted, and then I layered a couple together, and now I have like an interesting little set of flowers there. So I have all that ready to go. I think those are dry, and we can start to build the front of this card. Front of the card, same deal. This paper here, the other side of this is my base, and this is going to be next. Okay. And then we have our large doily, which I think I'm going to put like right there. So we'll get that on next. And I do want to talk about you may notice I'm not using my precision glue press right now from My Sweet Petunia, but instead I've been using my art glitter glue in my old bottle here. But I wanted to use this new stand. I wanted to try it out. I was gifted this when I was in Florida last week. And I did a little make and take meet and greet at Wicked Papers in Merritt Island, Florida. And there was a lovely gal there named Chantal who has an Etsy shop. And evidently her and her husband, they have a 3D printer. And so she makes these stands and she sells them at Wicked Papers, but also has an Etsy shop if you wanted to custom order a color or whatever. But look at, she engraved my name in there and a heart with a butterfly. That, I think, is their logo. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to link to her shop below. It's CNC Artful Creations, but I will put the exact link to the Etsy shop and also to Wicked Papers if you want to check them out. She did give me something else. I'll show you that really quick, too. Can't wait to try it out. This is for your daubers, right? So you hook your little daubers in there. It spins beautifully because it has like ball bearings in there, I'm quite sure, because it spins so nicely. And when she first gave it to me, I have to be honest, I thought, oh, I guess I'm going to have to weight this down with some pretty stones or gems or something heavy. But then I looked on the website, and that's where you put your tools. That's where you put all your most used tools, and that's what weighs it down. So I thought that was very sweet. I loved it. So I will be sure to link her below. Okay, got a bunch of glue on the back of my big doily here. You don't have to put a ton. And I think I'll put it kind of up high, maybe into the green over there a little bit. You don't have to put a ton of glue because we're going to layer a bunch of stuff on here. And like I said, I'm going to pop this back in place. So let's do that real quick. By the way, the stand has, you know, one of those silicone pads in there. but it's super like spongy. It's super nice. And so you don't have to worry about putting it back in here any particular way. It really kind of hits anywhere and seals up really nicely. Okay, this goes here. Lovely. And then we have this. So I went ahead and glued these together, and I think I'm going to put this somewhere around here. Our tree is going to come over the top, I think. Yeah, I think so. All right, so this can be next for sure. I think for this we'll use just tape runner. Okay, there's that. Looks good. Then we have our postage stamp. I think I want that to hang off a little bit. So we don't need to put any glue on that right edge because it's going to hang off anyway. And I think I'll put that right about there, maybe a little higher. Okay, looks good. And then It's Your Day. That can go anywhere up here. I was going to tuck it behind. I think I still can. Yeah, because I didn't use glue. I used tape runner. So I can get this behind there. I just want it to come up from behind that postage edge a little bit. And we will squeak it under there, kind of the best we can, off to the right over here. Okay, make sure it's straight. Looks good. Okay, and then I have my little flowers, which I think I just want to kind of put over here. And just to get a plan and make sure it looks all good and everything, let's see what our little bird looks like standing down here. That's pretty cute. I feel like these could be a little bit darker, so I'm going to knock them back with a little bit of brown. That same gathered twigs I used earlier. Because now that I see it next to the tree, this green looks really bright. So we're just going to tone it all back a little bit. See if that helped. Yeah, I think that's good. We'll do that to this too. Okay, we'll get this down here. Okay, get my smaller block right there for a second. Get this one glued up. Okay, looks good. Weight that one down. We'll get our tree on here. Okay. Just kind of have this coming up way over here, but not off the card edge. We don't want that. Okay, put our bigger block on that one for a second. I'll link to this block. I don't think I have a link to this one, but I'll look for it. It's a little smaller, but they're super heavy. They're like paperweights. They're not stamping blocks. So we've got our little bird. He's so cute. I hate for him to be down there, but you know, he's gonna not do well anywhere else, I think. He could sit up in the tree. That's kind of cute, but I really kind of think I want him down here where all the weight of the card is. So we'll get him on next, and maybe we'll do a little filler with those tiny flowers, and then it's done. Okay, get these guys on here, just kind of laying them around to see where I liked them. I did ink around these edges to tone them back, just like we did the others. So I think I'll put that one there. That one there. And you notice I'm overlapping. I'm not just spreading them out in the middle of nothingness. All spread out from each other. You want to overlap a little bit where you can. Actually, I want to stick that guy out there, but these are overlapping, so that's nice. And then I've got a couple of these little guys. You know, you could make a little cluster of these. That could be cute. But they do feel like they're just floating out there, so I might put these down here next to these other guys. Just kind of blending them. Oops, blending them together. Fill it out a little bit. I do have my bee stamp over here. Little tiny bee on a block. Might have to add that somewhere. Okay, and then this one maybe here. Okay, that looks cute. And then if I were to put a bee, I might put it like right there. And I have even a smaller bee. Now these bees come from an older stamp set as well. Not terribly old. Actually, no, it's from this same release with the beautiful bounty and all that. So this particular stamp set is Flowers and Nature. There's a couple of butterflies in there, but there's 2 teeny little bees. So let me grab some really dark browning. You could do black, but I think I'll do brown, and I'll have one go this way. This is tricky, chancy to do on your card after you've already made the whole card, but we're going to try. So far, so good. And then I'll put a little one up there. Cute, cute, cute. So I did have 2 more flowers here. If I wanted to add them, I could definitely do that. I feel like we have enough going on the top, on the front of the card, so maybe we'll just kind of put them inside somewhere, like that, or up here. No, down here. That's good. Just so they don't go to waste and we actually use them. Why not? Whoops, keeps sticking on my finger. Clearly, I am sticky. Okay, let's wrap it up here. So there we go. Very cute. Pretty 5x7. You learned how to color those trees in. We learned how to assemble the bird and the tricks with that bird. Now I just want to show you real quick with the other bird that I brought in at the top. Again, this is the Layered Birds 2023. I think it's still available. But once you look at the packaging and you determine which pieces go with which bird, because this one faces this way, this one faces that way, and their parts and pieces are different. So just study the picture. And what I like to do is put a little piece of washi tape, or you could do a marker if you could find something to work on your magnet here. I just put it across there. And so I always keep all the parts to one bird above the line and the other below. So just a helpful tip there. But this is our finished card. We had a lot of fun today, I hope. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little something about how easy this is and to color these trees. And I thank you for joining me. So I'll see you next week in the next crafty video.